because Trump came out and said Israel had a right to respond, and they responded hard, and that's how they should have responded. So my guess is that Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and the United States are even pressuring Hamas more now than they were a couple of days ago, because those players know that only a Hamas without weaponry can bring peace to the region. A Hamas who are armed will continue to destabilize the region. So for the sake of all the Gazans, for the sake of the Israelis, and actually for the credibility of the Trump administration and all those nations that are supporting him, Hamas must lay down its weapons. Will they or won't they is yet to be seen. But I think, given how Israel responded yesterday, that they know that their days as a military forceful opposition to Israel are numbered.
With that, I would like to thank Peter for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. Russia's Defense Minister Andrei Belousov has met in Moscow with his Syrian. Now for this hour, we start with the Middle East. Qatar has said that it still expects the fragile ceasefire in Gaza to hold, despite what it calls a clear violation in attack on Israeli soldiers. Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al-Thani has said that mediators are pushing Hamas to accept disarmament and are confident the United States can help secure a longer-term agreement. He has also claimed that Hamas is willing to give up governing Gaza. But the situation on the ground is still abysmal. The United Nations says more than 100 Palestinians were killed in the Israeli strikes targeting residential buildings, schools, and camps for displaced families. UN Rights Chief Volker Turk has called the rising civilian toll appalling and warned all sides not to let peace slip from their grasp. International pressure is now tightening. The ceasefire hangs by a thread. Now for this discussion, we welcome Peter Baum. He's a foreign editor at Weekly Blitz, joins us live from London. Thank you very much, Peter, for joining us again. Good to see you.
Peter, nice to be here.
Thank you. Peter, looking at this, how do you think, how credible is Qatar's claim that Hamas is willing to disarm? Do you think we can trust their statements?
This is interesting. The statements emanating from Qatar after this breach in the after this breach in the ceasefire have been quite interesting and must be very perplexing to Hamas. I see a change of tack here from the Qataris, almost giving Israel silent approval for the attack, and also stating that the ceasefire was not solely breached by Israel. I can only suspect that there has been enormous pressure from the Trump administration and the agreement of both Qatar, Turkey and Egypt to continue to pressurize Hamas. And after this breach in the ceasefire, which has now come to a halt, Hamas must feel even more isolated than they were before breaching the ceasefire by killing the Israeli soldier. So I do suspect and I do believe that the Qatari statements are signifying to Hamas